Can you hold it down? I have tinnitus.
Sorry, Ed. I'll give you a hug later. All right, my name is Paul Salfen. I'm going to be moderating this panel, and this is so special. This is the 50th anniversary of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, and this is the best gathering of the cast and crew, and we're also lucky to be here. And we've got a lot of panelists, and not much time to do this. So what we're going to do is I'll go ahead and just start it out with a question for each of you, and then we'll take a few questions. But since there's not a mic, I'll come to you. How about that? So, so to start it out, this movie means so much to so many people, but obviously so much to all of you. And of course, we all wish we could have been there on the set, and it seemed like such a crazy time. And can each of you provide just your favorite memory from the set? Because what a special time. We could just go down the line, actually, if that's best.
Favorite memory?
Yes.
I remember what time I quit filming. I remember how long it took me to get to the one night to get a beer. Okay, let's see. My favorite memory. I think seeing Ed come around out of the driveway behind Maryland was like astounding to me. Maybe the most riveting thing ever. And I don't think I knew at that point I was going to run over him. But I'd say that's my favorite memory. Very excited.
Yeah.
Pull your mic this time, so. There you go.
You have a particular favorite memory?
I think my favorite memory was close. True. Oh yeah.
Okay. Did she say it last night?
Yeah, I think my particular favorite memory was in the first week of shooting when we were having the most fun. I stuck my hands out the window to grab an extension cord being dropped from the floor above, and stuck my hand into a swarm of stuck my arms into a swarm of yellow jackets, which pretty much that's the way the shoot went. It was Central Texas in August and late July, very hot, very dry. Very testing for everybody that was out there trying to make a movie.
Absolutely. And we kind of request if you could each introduce yourselves on the way down, that would be great.
First person that spoke was Ed Guinn. He's a truck driver.
Yes.
The next person that spoke is another unsung hero on the set of any movie, but especially this one, Linn Sherwitz. He was the key grip. We don't have time to explain what grippery is, but it's movie sets don't operate without them. So, important person. I'm Wayne Vail. I was part of the sound crew on location along with Ted Nicolau, who you'll meet in a minute. And I was also various things in the post-production sound, but talking about the production, a favorite moment, a famous moment, is, of course, is the 26-hour moment. It was our last day of shooting the dinner scene, and I believe it was near the last. And when that all was over, Lou Perryman, who went on to be famous as an actor, was part of the camera crew and an old friend of Toby Hooper's, the director. And we were all kind of burned out, but Lou seemed to have an extra reserve of energy and was declaiming what a travesty it was to have worked 26 hours. At that very moment, Toby rounded the corner and Lou said, "And that's the guy that did it," and proceeded to jump Toby as if he was going to thrash him. And Toby thought he was within inches of the end of his life. And in fact, that was Lou being affectionate. And it was a classic Lou moment, and classic Toby, in that Toby thought this was the end. So a snapshot for me, and I'll hand it off to our writer and producer, Kim Henkel.
Slightly off the set. We were shooting at an old house out in the country, as many of you know, but there was actually a family living there when we began shooting. And we were able to use only one side of the house, and there was one bathroom basically serving the entire cast and crew, so sometimes you use alternatives. And so one day I went out to
use the alternative.
Exactly. And I walked out into the family garden and began to take care of business, and then I began to look around a little bit, and there were plants up above my head. I just assumed they were corn, but then as I looked a little more closely, I realized they were something else. And that was just, personal crop, or maybe commercial crop. There it was in the backyard of our principal location. And later, they were drying the plants on the back porch. But anyway, that was part of our world at that time. Now I'm going to pass the baton to Ron Bozman, without whom Chainsaw would never have come into being, our production manager and co-producer.
Thank you. I'll take the blame for all of that, including the success of it. But it was quite an event to have a full film crew out in the country. It was not that far from town, but it was enough to be sort of isolated. But we just hung in and just proving that if you just keep going, don't stop, keep going, keep shooting, keep going, it'll all work out. And who would have known at the time that it would turn into such a significant film? And for that, we're grateful. Pass this on.
I do want to mention that Ron Bozman, our production manager, won an Oscar for producing Silence of the Lambs. There's so many memories. Somebody else asked me this today, and I think, I can't, okay, I'm digressing, I realize. I thought that way. But I had flown on overnight, a red-eye flight from Chicago to Austin, and Kim picked me up at the airport, and he said, they're starting to roll out the location. You want to go out there? You want to go get some rest? You want to go to your park and get some rest? I said, no, I'm going to go. It's my first film. Now I'm a theater actor. So I went out there and we were shooting. That was the day we were shooting in the old stone house, the deserted house that they're planning out there. And Paul Martin, Franklin, was sitting in his wheelchair. Paul Martin, he was sitting in his wheelchair and he had some folding lawn chairs lounging in it like a semicircle breakfast, a conversation, you know, like we're all gonna sit around and chat between setups, you know. He sits there all alone in his wheelchair, his empty chair. The rest of the cast is sitting on equipment cases over there because they hated it. Because he never broke character. They just thought he was an asshole. You know? And he did really good asshole. He was dying to talk to somebody. He goes, hey, but he said, what are you doing here? I told him who I was. Slide along over here, partner, grab yourself something to drink. And he had this white Cadillac convertible, like half a mile long with fins, you know. Like you were riding a bicycle behind it, and you hit the brakes, and you just impaled on the fins on it. So I went over there and it was all Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, and tall boys at Budweiser, you know. And he goes, Grandpa, I said, well, I thought, well, it's still night to me, really, because I haven't been to sleep. I've been on a plane, so I grabbed Budweiser, 7 a.m., sit down with him, and we just became fast friends, you know. And I can't imagine anybody else playing Frank in a ballpark game. And part of his character, I think Kim Henkel is the only screenwriter that's ever written a handicapped character who's a real fucking asshole. You know what I mean? So, anyway, my favorite memory, I'll pass this on to Alan Danziger, the good actor, the band driver, and film, the writer, producer, director, everything, so there he is.
Is it on? Can you tell me what the question is? Oh, favorite memory. Oh. Well, mine, unfortunately, is a rather traumatic one, and one that I'm still under therapy for. And that's the first time that I actually see Leatherface in my death scene. And in order to prepare for that, I had them blindfold me so that I could be properly scared. But I didn't realize how scared I was, so I walked through the vestibule and through the kitchen and the hook and the deal and I opened up the freezer and then I jump back and I see Leatherface just walking through the door. I totally freaked and just ran screaming out of there. And I remember Toby yelling, cut, came over, put his arm around me, said, great scream, Alan, but you gotta wait for him to come into the frame. Well, I had to do it several times. That's how freaked out I was. To this day, that's still the memory that haunts me. Thank you.
My favorite memory is I'm acting up a storm. I'm doing all this crazy maniacal stuff. And the director, Toby Hooper, turns right to me. He turns right to me and he says, please stop it. You're scaring me. Kim is so sweet. He turned to me and goes, no, he's acting. And Toby goes, I don't think so. That's the way.
Hi, all you beautiful people. Glad to see you. I wanted to tell you a little story about when we went to the gas station. It's one of my favorite stories, along with Alan's, that we pull in and the girls get out of the van. They're going inside to do whatever girls do together in gas stations. And so the rest of the scene was Jim Seadow was supposed to come out to the van and tell us there's no gas and come back later. Well, as he comes over to the van, the young man who's sitting there with a bucket full of suds and water is supposed to walk over behind him and start washing the window. And this is a kind of a Laurel and Hardy bit to start with. But what was his name? He was a good friend of Maryland's.
Yeah, he's a friend of Maryland from Robert.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert.
Anyway, Robert walks over for the first take, and he takes this big chamois out of the bucket to hit the windshield, except it hits the windshield and then skids across the other end to land on Jim Sedow's face. High in the face. It was perfect. So, Ellen and I, after another long, hot day, think this is probably the funniest thing we've ever seen in our life, and start laughing. Okay, not funny. Take two, and we try to bring ourselves down, being the professionals that we are. And he comes over again to the window now. Everybody take two, and Ellen and I get the giggles. Before he ever gets the rag out of the bucket, we're laughing. And you can sort of see Toby is starting to get a little hot under the collar. Okay, boys, no laughing, take three. Now, normally we were lucky to get 2 takes of anything. Most of this movie was 1 take and moving on, right? Which is another incredible part of the making of this film. Anyway, we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, and every time we lose our cookies and start laughing and think it's the funniest thing. It's like 2 little boys, you know, in the back of the station wagon traveling across America. Anyway, Toby gets so angry at the whole deal that finally he throws his cigar on the ground and says, "I'm out of here. You're totally unprofessional." And makes Kim come in to direct the rest of the scene. That was the most fun I had.
My favorite part, and I played Pam, the girl on my favorite part was getting to film for 3.5 days. All of us, 8 of us, packed into this van with the windows up and it's 92 degrees outside. And we're all just sweating on each other. No, I'm just kidding. That was memorable. Okay, my favorite part was the day we shot the meat hook scene. Toby asked me the day before, he said, "Teri, have you thought about the meat hook scene?" And I had, and I couldn't wrap my brain around chainsaws or meat hooks or, but I said, Toby, I did think about it, and I thought that if maybe the hook didn't go into that part of her back that was strategic or spine, that if she could move, that maybe she'd try and get the hook. And to my amazement, Toby says, "Yeah, let's go with that." So we get together the next day. And I think we started around 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm in this contraption, which I describe on February 3rd on Instagram, and you can all go and read exactly what it was. But when we shot the scene, it went for like maybe 3 hours, and it was really great collaborative work. Everybody, crew, me, we were all happily, getting this thing done, and it was working, and I'm like, all that stuff that you saw. And then we get to the end, Toby says, "Cut," and we look out, and I'm looking at this crew, everybody's in front of us, and everybody's kind of going with their mouths open. And I think that was the moment that I thought to myself, gee, I think we might have something here. And that was my favorite moment.
Hi, I'm Daniel Burrow, the cinematographer, and I want to probably... First thing I want to do is apologize to the cast for driving around in a hot van because it's so blown out outside the windows, I had no lights, and you don't even know we're moving. We could have been stationary, but we didn't know that because the film had to go to Dallas and come back. I apologize about the hot heat. Anyhow, I'd like to tell you a funny story, but I think I've got a story that y'all are going to want to hear, and it's about a famous shot from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And all of us have sort of different timelines as the stories go down, so if it doesn't jive quite with somebody else's story, there's no telling who's right. Because the timeline's all over the place. Anyhow, after about a week, I imagine, it was decided we weren't going fast enough. And we were shut down to have Toby write a shot list. After a week, we had a shot list. I come back the first morning, and I set up the first shot. Toby shows up 45 minutes later and changes everything. And the whole day we go through, not shooting anything on the shot list. And okay. Production's quite busy, getting us back ready to go, rearranging locations. They're not following us that closely what we're doing. Next morning comes in, I set up the shot on the shot list. Now keep in mind, 1973, nobody emails you a shot list. Somebody had to physically give you the document. So I get it and set up that shot. Toby shows up and changes everything. Toby, man, they're not talking about it. They made me write that to get. I just wrote that to get them off our backs. We're going to do this the way we do it. We're going to bring the cast in, see where they want to play, what space they want, and then we'll figure out how we cover it. That would be cool. Well, at the end of that second day, they realized you guys are not shooting the goddamn shot list. From now on, nothing but the shot list. So, next morning, now we're shooting out at the swing, right? We're having to shoot Toby's shots. I'm not very happy about it because he just wrote them, like he said, just to get everybody off his back, right? We finished, moving on. I get, fortunate as happens to me, I'm not a very good cinematographer. We've got a huge big project, but give me somebody that's going to come up with ideas on the spot. But I'm not good at that. Anyhow, I get hit by this bolt of lightning. I told me, we have this platform dolly, and I can lay down on that dolly and hold the camera off the front. And as Teri stands and goes to the house, then we'll push me on the dolly and the house. Well, first of all, we'll get a nice sexy shot of Teri's legs and cut off at this angle. And because of the angle, up so much as we go in, the house will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and envelop the frame. Fuck yeah. Right. Get that set up. I turn to the crew and say, okay, the tracker, bring that track back here, blah, blah, blah. It's heard that what we're doing, come over and say, what's going on? Well, I have the shot of it. No, you can't do it. Cannot do it. No. Toby sees me suddenly, I was animated, bring it back. And all of a sudden I'm dejected, right? Toby sees that and flipped over. What's going on? We can't shoot the shot. Toby goes, guys, because Daniel has come up with the most incredible way to start the second act of this film. I'm the director, he's the cinematographer, we're shooting it. Maybe you're gonna fire us. Maybe we're not back tomorrow. But get the fuck out of our way right now, we're gonna get a shot. Thank you very much. We unanimously, we love y'all, we're nothing without y'all, so thank you.
Michael McClary, lead guitar. No. I was having a grand old time in Austin. School's out, so my parents said, you need to come up and see us. They had just moved to Dallas. So there I am, squirming around in there, wondering what I'm going to do. They have about 150 projects for me, mapped out until September 1st or something like that. I'm there for one day, the phone rings. My dad gets it and he goes, Michael, some guy named Daniel's on the phone. Really? So they're all hanging on me, like wanting to know what's going on. And so Daniel said, we need for you to come down to Austin to be on the film. Oh, can I call you back? No, we need to talk to you now. And so, of course, I said yes, I'll be there. And I go, when? And they go, well, tomorrow. Oh my God. So, their turn, hang up the phone, looked at my dad, and he goes, "You didn't do that, did you?" "Yeah." He goes, "I can't believe you hang around with all those long-haired hippies down there. The longer you go to school there, the dumber you get." So, the rest is history.
I'm Ted Nicolau. I was location sound recordist, basically twiddling the knobs, trying to make sure all the dialogue that Wayne's microphone picked up was recorded properly. My memory is not my favorite memory, but it's my most vivid memory, and it's not my favorite because it's sort of a story of dumb hippie filmmaker parents on the set of a horror movie. At the time we were shooting, my wife at the time was the caterer of the set, and my daughter was 2 years old, Karina was 2 years old, and every day at lunchtime they would show up at the set. And Karina was free to run around and talk to everybody and would sit on the porch and hug Gunner. But on this one particular day that Pam was just talking about, Pam on the meat hook, Leatherface standing over the chopping block, starting to dismember the I don't remember who it was. Yeah, okay, there we go. And I was sitting there with the Nagra and watching the scene in front of me going, this is maybe the most horrifying tableau I have ever seen in my life. And at that moment, Karina comes running into the room, Abby! And comes and hugs me and then looks over at what's happening on the set and lets out a scream that probably rivaled, and maybe it's even mixed into the movie, Cam's scream, and tore out of there and was like inconsolable for like an hour or something until he said, "Hey, it's just Gunner, you know." But so that's my most vivid.
All right, I always love it when we get questions from the audience, so I'm just gonna roam around. I'm gonna come to you guys. All right, you stood up first.
Yeah.
Leatherface.
Here you go. This is a question that I want to say the most, and I'll give you one of you my drawings for free. Did any of you have nightmares after finishing the movie, including the late great Marilyn Burns?
Did we what?
Did any of you have nightmares, including Marilyn?
Any of us have nightmares?
No, I did.
Just a movie.
Yeah, we were awake for them.
Okay. Who wants my drawings the most? Okay.
Love this. This is it. You're it.
All right. This is for everybody. When you filmed this movie, did you know? When you filmed this movie, did you know it was going to be iconic the way it is now? Like, what were your expectations when you filmed it? Did you think people were going to hate it or love it?
If we would have known then what we know now, yeah, we would all have lawyers and agents and shit.
We would have sold that Texas Chainsaw Massacre band for $800.
You know, that's actually a question we've been asked quite a bit. And, 23, 24, I think the oldest 25, maybe 32. We would be assholes if we ran around thinking that was a great thing like this. In fact, there's really not any other phenomenon quite like this, really. So we couldn't even imagine it 50 odd years ago when we were shooting it.
And I would have kept the red shorts and
Bill turns to me and says, "Who do we have to shoot to get off this set?"
You sure he said shoot?
Hey guys, my question would be is, out of all of you, who in your opinion smelled the worst at the end of shooting?
It was Gunner.
I have a thing.
There's a good reason for that.
He has a sweat gland the size of a dachshund.
We only had one gunner wardrobe, and so they were afraid, Toby wouldn't let him wash it because they're afraid it would get damaged in the washing. And so he never just wore it.
The shirt was hand dyed. It like was wrist dyed the same, you know, and they were afraid if they washed it, the colors wouldn't match. You know, but he, you know, he did. It's like not even human BO at that point. No, it's like something you'd never smelled before in your life, like a Martian BO or something. It's really disgusting.
And Wayne Bell was our hero because there we were working with Gunner. And we were trying to do our acting. And because of the smell, we were. And poor Wayne had to go, I can fix this.
And I worked with him like on the second day, so he was fine.
He was a gentle giant, absolutely the 100-degree opposite of the character he portrays. And interestingly enough, because he always wanted the cast to be scared the first time they saw him, like the story Alan told, he hung out with us. So he spent his time with the crew. In fact, I just posted yesterday a picture of him helping Lynn push the dolly back to one. And he, you know, he hung out, he basically hung with us because he didn't want them seeing him ahead of time.
Excellent, here you go.
Hi, as a lifelong horror fan, I can't let my children watch 95% of what I love. So I was wondering, for those of you who had kids, when your wrapping was done, did you let your kids watch the movie?
I have a 40-year-old daughter that she's not always been 40. I really didn't want to let her see it until she was like 12 or 13 or something like that. I finally let her see it, and I found out much later she'd seen it when she was like 6 years old and didn't want to tell me because she thought it'd be bad.
My son was 5 when the movie came out, and I made the mistake of going to see myself in it, and I ran out of the theater screaming.
Because of your performance?
Yeah. But to make matters worse, I took my son just to see his dad in the coming attractions. And that's 50 years ago, and he's still in weekly therapy. That's where you go wrong.
Hello. Big lifelong fan. One of my earliest horror movie memories was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I actually became an amateur writer later in my adult life. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the inspiration of my story, which is I always felt bad for all the people getting killed and everything. So I thought, well, what if there was somebody who was trained and knew what was happening, and he goes after them to save all the characters and everything from the killers. And I've always wanted to tell the source of my inspiration about it.
We've got one over here. Hang on. What is this?
It's not mine. This kind of rides off of an earlier question, but I find it a little bit more interesting because you folks were probably a little bit more in tune with the scene locally. But I was always intrigued, you know, did you think you were really laying the groundwork for a really intimate and connected Austin film scene and the Texas film scene in general? I read Chainsaws, Slackers, and Spy Kids, which is, I love the film history of Austin. And literally chapter 1 after the prologue is the movie you all made, and I just remember it just being dirty, grungy, and disgusting. You all were miserable, and I feel that about filmmaking as a filmmaker myself. But did you know, laying down the groundwork, eventually Ann Richards, 20 years later, reworks the Texas Film Commission. What did you feel like you were really putting something grand, at least for Texas, if not cinema as a whole?
I'm from Indiana.
I'll take that one on. No.
I second that.
I would add, though, that the misery index that everybody's claiming, I just didn't experience. I was having a whale of a good time, and I thought it was a pretty darn enjoyable experience myself.
He wants the question right there.
All right, here we go. Run it. It's good exercise.
Yeah.
What was the most difficult scene to film in the movie?
The dinner.
No, you good. Not
The dinner. I think the dinner scene. I'd say the whole dinner scene, and then the whole sledgehammer finger sucking. It was a rough day. It was just, and Toby beat it to death. I know he shot it over. He had a weird kind of method. Instead of doing like a couple of masters and then break it up to 2 shots over the shoulders, close-ups, that sort of thing. Even on close-ups, we had to do the whole scene. So I think it just dawned on me a few years ago when I was watching it. Toby knew exactly what he was doing. He wore us out, got us all pissed off at each other. Everybody was stressed out, hot, tired. We'd been at it for 24 hours at that point. And very uncomfortable, you know, and so he waited until we were all ready to actually film Maryland. And then he was like, cut this wrap. So he had a purpose to the whole thing.
The hardest part was the dinner scene, okay? Low budget movie making at its finest, using real sausage and a real chicken's head nailed to a board. Cut 2 days later. It's all decomposed and the fumes are coming up into our nostrils at the dinner table. And we're like this. Toby turns to the producer and he says, "Wow, it's doing really good tonight." Could not breathe, I was dying, and he's over there going, "Wow, he's really good."
It was 100 degrees outside. I reckon it went on for 27 hours. The windows were all covered over with black plastic because we shot day and night. It's a nice scene, but we shoot around the clock. So we buttoned it up so there's no ventilation during that. It was just every imaginable wrong thing in the situation was going down. Like Ed said, the head cheese was rocking. And it was really diabolical. In fact, I was actually spelled. I think I actually left for 8 hours and went to sleep and came back. It was the toughest thing to shoot, no doubt about it.
Does anybody have any interest in Jim Cito memories, or what was it like working with him? Jim Sideout.
With who?
Jim Sideout.
Oh my God, I do Jimmy as good as Jimmy does Jimmy, okay? Well, yeah, you know, I don't want to go over there. The one day Toby runs over for a little rehearsal, and when I'm in the scene where the truck is, and it's, the dust is coming up. And we were really tired, and we were really pissed off with Toby for something. And I said, let's wind Toby up. And Jimmy goes, well, okay. Okay, hurry up, we gotta rehearse this. Jimmy goes, where have you been, you nap here, idiot? I said, well, it's over here in the cemetery. And he goes, well, what you doing over there? Well, I'm trying to get the boat. Toby's like, he turns to Jay Parsons and he says, what are they doing? He says, well, they're messing with you, Toby. He goes, cut that out. Jim Cito and I turned to Toby in the same voice, what
spooky. He's like, no!
My question was, what do you guys think was the absolute grossest thing from either the film or on set? And another question I have to ask, does anyone know where the chainsaw is?
No. We don't know where the chainsaw is. Nobody does, unfortunately. It's one of those things, if we were really smart, you know, we preserved it and safe, and it would be worth $1 billion today. Unfortunately, no. I used to do the grossest scene, I'll pass that on to somebody like John Dugan.
There were so many gross things, but I think the scene that disturbs people most, I don't know what it is, but it's the meat hook scene, obviously. And when I first saw it, I saw it at the Chicago Theater on State Street in Chicago. Beautiful old vaudeville house. And when she was hung on that meat hook, about 30 people just stood up and walked out. I told Teri later she got a walking ovation in Chicago.
That's good.
The grossest thing that was around on the set was quite a few dead animal carcasses that had not been skinned or saved in any way. My ex-wife, Dottie Pearl, was the makeup artist on the film. She's one of the unsung heroes. She absolutely killed it. Did a fantastic job on the film. And she had been working for a veterinarian, and she knew where he hid the bodies, basically. And she took Bob Burns there, and they got a truckload full of recently deceased pets, and jammed them up with formaldehyde so they didn't smell too terribly bad. But we had a lot of quite disgusting and really unhealthy animals that were around for a couple of days.
We did have a live chicken on set. Wait, remember the chicken scene?
That was.
We had to get
chicken
some
was scary.
Between setups, we had this chicken that. Okay, so we had this fucking chicken. And, you know, it takes like a parakeet cage, you know, slid the bottom off of it, stuffed a live chicken in there, and then put the bottom back on it. So you got a full-grown chicken in a parakeet cage. It was blazing hell all the time until we needed it to. That's what Wayne and I we had to record wild chicken sounds, you know. It says really wild chicken sounds. I'm poking the cage. I'm poking the cage with a broomstick and a chicken that just do something and waiting for it. That poor chicken. I think we have more than one, maybe they kept dying or something. I don't know. But they don't want to say the meat of the time.
Well, Bob Burns, our brilliant production designer, he was very worried about this chicken. Chicken in particular, you see it close up when Teri first falls on the floor in that room, right? And he, because we told you wanted it more animated, the chicken was like, the same heat that they experienced, the chicken was experiencing it too, right? So the chicken's just like, there, we gotta get it. Somebody comes up with the idea to blow dust off. And Bob Burns just goes crazy. You heard that chicken? I'm quitting this picture. This scene, this gigantic scene. Toby's like, I need a chicken.
I was particularly bothered by the chicken.
The chicken did continue to fail in health. And I was the official chicken wrangler. Show up slaughterhouse at the end of Red River Street a few days in the morning, about 5:30 a.m. And you couldn't buy a chicken from them because they were going to slaughter, but there were escaped chickens out in this back area. So I was out there at 5:30 a.m. doing a Rocky Balboa chasing down. Because our chickens continue to expire or terminate.
Okay, we've got one more in the very back, and then we're going to do a special greeting for the anniversary. Here you go.
I had a cinematography question. In 2 separate film classes I was in, I was told the scene where she's walking up to the house, at the time, nothing, that was considered an award-winning shot. Nothing had really been done like that before. But I am curious, was there any particular inspiration for that exact tracking shot, or was that an original idea?
That's a Danny question.
That's a Danny question.
I mentioned to you, it's a strange thing in my career. It doesn't work for all kinds of filmmaking, but sometimes ideas just come to me out of nowhere. I don't know where they come from. They just hit me. I'm lucky, but like I said, it doesn't work for all kinds of filmmaking. I wound up having a career pretty strong in music videos because that was the perfect place to come up with spontaneous ideas, because it's a very wild, crazy kind of filmmaking. So I wound up settling into that. But no, just hit me out of nowhere. Just something technically I realized we could do. I pitched it. That's all.
I never told you this, but it's a true story. I'm on the set of JFK. Oliver Stone walks over to me. All right, you realize why I cast you? Because I'm a brilliant actor? No, I want to talk to you about Chainsaw. He asks me, that scene where the girl meets Albert Swing, walks toward the house. How the hell did you do that? I said, you'll have to call Danny.
I got news for you. My ex-wife moved on and was doing a picture with Steven Spielberg, and we were separated at the time, but she said, oh, why don't you come to the set and I'll introduce you to Steven Spielberg. Well, who's going to say no to that? Right. Steven Spielberg. So in between, they're about to roll, I show up, and she takes me over to Steven. I'd like to introduce you to Daniel Pearl. It's Daniel Pearl, you shot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He goes, I want to talk to you about that shot over the swing. And we start walking away from the set, right? I go, you're about to roll. That doesn't matter, it's okay. We go to John Belushi's RV. He knocks on the door. John, I got his RV for a second? John goes, yeah, sure, man. What's up? We go into the RV. Spielberg moves me all the way to the rear of the RV on the bench, basically the bench couch, right? I'm sitting there. He sits down about this far in front of me. Start to vacuum my brain about what he wants to know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Belushi wants to be the center of attention. So in the background, keep in mind I'm a cinematographer, Spielberg's in focus. There's a counter back there at the other end of the RV. And John Belushi, next thing you know, and then some shit comes flying over the counter. Next thing you know, he stands up with a bench on the stool, and he's like slamming somebody on the other. And then he just throws himself, he's having a barroom brawl with himself. And he's trying to be the center of attention. And I'm sitting here, Steven Spielberg's back into my brain. I got the master of filmmaking and the master of comedy at the same time. It is the most surreal moment of my life.
What a great way to end it, what a great panel, but we have a special request here. Now, of course, this is the 50th, I keep saying 50th anniversary, but they want to say 50th birthday to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So what we're going to all say together, so that you can get this on film here, is we're going to say happy birthday from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? All right, perfect. So on the count of 3, happy 50th birthday from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Everybody in the room, okay?
Can we do it on the mic?
Yeah, come on. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy 50th birthday, Texas Chainsaw Massacre!
Should we do it one more time?
Yeah!
Everybody, okay? Yeah, 50. All right, happy 50th birthday from...
We're only 50 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Our message to you.
All right, happy 50th. There we go. Happy 50th from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You ready? Let's try this. 1, 2, 3.
Happy 50th from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre!
There we go. Oh, take a selfie with you guys, because this only happens once. So we got a photographer right here, so everybody squeeze in. And if we could get you guys all up and turned around as best we can. Yeah. Show it.
Take it if you want.
Yes. All right, if we can get everybody in here. Okay. All right, we got everybody here. All right, can we fit everyone in this way? Or do you need everybody squeezed in a little?
Sorry.
There you go. Okay. All right. We got everybody? You might have to do a round, right? All right. You guys ready? We're going to do a 3, 2, 1. Put your hands up or sit down. All right. Yes. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got another camera? All right. All right, we got one more, 3, 2, 1. Ready? Oh, he's just getting a B-roll. All right, we good? Yeah. All right, there we go. Happy 50th Texas Chainsaw Massacre! Big round of applause, everybody. Wayne Vail, Bozman,